So my name is Nashua Khalil and I'm from Boston, Massachusetts. Family's from Egypt, but I'm born and raised in Boston. My family was brought here many, many years ago, so that's what brought me here. First real job outside of my dad's work would be at a daycare across the street from my house. I was in high school and I wanted to see if I liked education and working with children, so I crossed the street from my home and there was a daycare there and I asked if I could work there. I teach 4th grade in Mattapan, second year teaching, and I love it. It's great. I've always wanted to teach since I was younger, and I think crossing the street and going to that daycare when I was little to see if I love teaching made me realize it's something I want to do for the rest of my life. Although it was a daycare and I'm in elementary now, from that moment I started going to other schools and seeing which age group I liked, and that's what got me into loving teaching. And then applying to schools or college, I realized education's where I'm going. And then I guess behind the scenes, my family I'm the only one kind of in teaching, and my family has a business that I would have went into and worked with if that's something I considered, but I tried it out throughout college. I tried working with my father. He owns a travel agency, so I tried working there, dedicated some time there, was a travel agent, was an accountant, did little things here and there, and all through college worked, and then realized it wasn't the work for me, and so left it completely when I got my master's and stayed in education. I still, my father understands that education's important to me and I want to teach, so he hasn't pushed the family business, but it's something that's in the back of my mind all the time. And until this day, I'm incredibly close to my family. We travel back and forth to Egypt every year, and it started raining. I'm incredibly close to my family, and we travel to Egypt every summer. I'm the youngest of 4, and my family lives in different states, and so I travel often to visit them. A lot of friends around the state, around the country, so I'm traveling often. I don't like to see myself in one spot, although I said I'm born and raised in Boston as I am, but I like to be everywhere, and I love the fact that we can go anywhere. And so my life is revolved around traveling and meeting other people, seeing other places, having vast knowledge of other cultures, and so I try to make my rounds around the world, I like to say. So yeah, it's my heart is in teaching, but my life is in travel and getting to know different people. I used to say a lot, and I would tell it to my family, and they would be like, "What are you talking about? You wanted to teach, and we let you teach, and we never said anything." And I was like, "You're right." They influenced my choices in that if they don't like something, I will heavily reconsider it. And although when someone asks me, would you do that even if your family didn't want you to, I'd be like, yeah, I don't really care. But if they give me a weird face or if they question it a lot, something I'm going to do or I want to do, I reconsider immediately. And I'll do it without realizing it, it's happening behind the back of my head, I don't know what's happening, and so they'll say, you were going to do that, now you're not going to do it, and I'm like, right, and I just feel self-conscious. I feel like if they're questioning it, that means they don't like it, and then that means I'm gonna do it feeling like I'm alone. And so a lot of the things I do, if I'm getting questions 101 questions, it means that those are questions I didn't ask myself, and so then I have to reconsider. And that could be, for me, sometimes it's the right way to go, but for me, all it takes is 1 or 2 family members to question it, and then me to question it myself. But if enough people in my family, they have different sides, some think this and something that, that's when I rely on myself and I kind of say, you know what, this is clearly something they can't, they don't know, so I'm going to decide and not listen to them. But it's hard. It's really hard because they've supported you and they've done everything for you, and I honestly wouldn't be where I am today without them. So when I'm in the middle of doing something and I'm deciding something, if I don't consider what they're saying, it's like, you wouldn't even be able to make that decision without them. So how can you not incorporate them in that decision? So that's how I see it sometimes. My friends a little less than my family, but I think I have a different friend that serves different purposes in my life. It's strange, but it's how it is. And some friends I go to for certain things and others for other things. And some friends, again, I tell things, others I don't. And so I think because friends aren't like family where they don't pry as much and they don't know everything, I guess I pick and choose which friends to tell things based on what responses I want. I think being born and raised here has connected me. My oldest sister, Nancy, I can say her name, I'm very, very close to her, and she's about almost 10 years older than me, and she got me really, really invested in the Muslim community because she was heavily involved when she was younger, and when she was a part of Mass Youth, she would drag me to all the events and everything, and make sure I was there and get to know all the Muslims. And then my older sister, Noura, who's a year older, she was more involved in the Muslim community growing up than I was, and she's a year older than me, so I'm like the youngest in my family, and I was the one that was kind of left on the side, didn't really want to do anything until I was dragged to do it. And my sister Nancy made me go to things, and the Mass Youth community, which they're now, at that time, now they're all married, but at that time they were younger. They had siblings and younger sisters and brothers, and I got close with them. And then as Mass Youth as I got away from Mass Youth, the ISPCC was built, and then it brought all my friends together. My family, also my parents, they have kids that are my age, and we're all, we made ourselves a community. I think it helps that I've been here, I haven't moved around. And so when people, through the masjids, when I, go for Eid prayer, through the colleges, we have so many colleges in Boston that brings in so many Muslims, and I'm really big on going to different colleges for different events. And so the fact that I have siblings that are a little older that also would drag me to their events at their colleges got me to know more people. I'm blessed. We have so many schools and so many beautiful mosques, and I think I travel, yes, but I haven't moved anywhere. I have the opportunity to meet people and continue to know them. So, and I have people that involve me because they're so involved, and so I have friends that are, they know what I'm good at and know what I like to do, and so if there's anything happening, any events, they'll be like, Nashua, this is a place for you to go. Come here, do this, and I'll come do it, because they know me. They know I'd like it or enjoy it. So it's kind of how it goes. So I'm really big on your niyyah and your intention, and especially because I work with children and I work with non-Muslims every day, which a lot of us do. The biggest way I can explain my religion and explain how, why I might choose to do certain actions or why I behave or dress or do what I do, I say it's from my heart or my intention. And I said, people will ask me why do you think your faith is number one, or why do you, why is your faith so important to you? And I'll be like, well, my faith, a lot of what I do comes from my heart and my faith in God's, He can't judge anyone. No one can judge anyone but God, because God is the only one that knows your heart and knows what you're thinking and feeling. And so for me, the idea of intentions and doing things for the sake of Allah and doing things for God, I think it's huge, and it's what I love so much about our faith. I think I wish, as a Arabic-speaking Muslim, I could understand the Quran better. And to me, being ashamed of something is a huge deal. If I had known what an all-girls school would have been like, I don't know if I would have gone to one. I don't know if it was the worst decision, because I don't think anything I've ever done was the worst decision. Just there may have been better if I'd known ahead of time what it would have looked like. But that, to me, I think those are the 4 crucial years where you should be exposed to different genders, and not being in college is like prime time of your youth to get to know other genders, and especially as Muslims when everything's so separate and segregated. It's a time where I wanted to talk to guys and know how to interact with guys in classes, and I was definitely more outspoken in my school, but I think that decision I should have thought out more. And at that age, you really don't know. You're at 18, you're like, oh, it's just, you're going to college. College is just college. And then when you're in there and you're like, oh my God, there's no guys in your classes, it's weird. And so that, to me, is something I would have definitely thought more about. And it was a decision I made because I wanted to study education, and my college, Simmons, was known for education. So that was great, but to be an all-girls school was something I definitely would have thought twice about. There's a cure for cancer. And that's not a lie, but they're telling us there's not. Last movie I saw was San Andreas in theaters, and I'm currently reading, oh my gosh, In the Footsteps of the Prophet by Salahi. Better than yesterday. I think one thing I've learned is that through teaching is that as I teach my kids things, I teach myself things too, that the only person you can be better than is the person you were yesterday. I love the song Where's the Love by Black Eyed Peas and Justin Timberlake. Like I can know the entire song by heart. I love that song. Like the words, every bit of it, meaning of it. It's just, I think it's powerful. You can ask me this question different times of the day and I'll give you different answers, but I love chocolate chip pancakes. Love them. Favorite? It could be chocolate chip pancakes. I think I'm pretty artistic. I'm really good with my hands. I'm artistic, I can be creative, I can knit, I can do really artsy things. Yeah, let me keep it artistic. And do sports count as talents? I'm pretty athletic. But I love to work out. I played a lot of sports in high school, still do now, but I don't know if it's a talent, then yeah, let's go with that. God, well yes, but no, yeah, I have a phobia. It's really embarrassing, but if I'm sitting somewhere and there's a roof above me and the roof above me the people are banging on it and like they're jumping up and down or something, I have a phobia or a fear that it's gonna collapse and fall on me. It's never happened in my life, and if I'm sitting and I hear a bang on a wall, I feel like the wall is gonna collapse on me and the whole building's gonna fall over and I will have to leave the room. It's really bad. Like yesterday we were in the masjid and they were playing with a soccer ball, throwing it back and forth, and it kept hitting both sides of the wall, and I was saying to everybody around me, like, isn't the wall gonna break? And they were like, no, and I was like, yes, it will. So I had to exit the room because I was freaking out that the soccer ball was gonna bang the wall and the whole masjid would fall apart. And that's obviously unrealistic, but it's literally in my head that there is something. And if I hear something banging on any part of any wall, I have to get out of that. I can't hear it. And it's a legit phobia. And it just developed in the past 4 years, and I don't know where it came from. It may have been a movie, it may have been something, but if you'd ask me again, I don't know. But it's an extreme fear. Chicago's airport is pretty cool. I go there often. I like that airport a lot. Turkey's airport is pretty nice. Internationally, yeah, I like Turkey's. It's a nice airport. And then I like Chicago's a lot within the United States. It's a pretty nice airport. Absolutely nothing. Pockets give bulk. I don't do bulk. I carry a purse. No, I usually never have anything in my pockets. I'd prefer to not. I'd love to have things in my pocket. The days I do, it's really fun and accessible. Right now I don't because I'm wearing a skirt, and I usually don't. But the days I do, I'm like, the first thing I think of, like, this is the life of a guy, and it's incredibly easy. And why on earth don't girls do this? But girls' outfits usually don't allow for it because our shirts are longer, and then when you go in your pocket with a long shirt, it just looks weird. I'm talking a lot, but nothing in my pockets.
Hold on, let's call it.
My message to youth would be, you're too young to know anything right now, but you're old enough to know. You're old enough to know who you are, but you may be too young to know where you're gonna be or what you're gonna do, but all you need to know is who you are to help you decide where you're gonna go and what you're gonna do. So even though at the moment you feel like you're stuck, because as youth that's the only feeling you ever feel, you usually feel stuck, don't forget, don't forget who you are with anything you do. Don't forget the person you are, no matter who's talking to you, who's giving you advice. Don't forget who you are. And the advice I give myself, be better than the person you were yesterday.